Hello and welcome to Rappler Talk. My name is Amanda Lago. So imagine a Manila that is near perfect. Public transport works, everything's clean, there's no pollution, there are no floods. It all sounds great except for the mysterious blackouts that happen in random parts of the city after midnight. And if you are caught outside in one of these blackouts, you just disappear. This is the world that is brought to life in Midnight in a Perfect World. It's a film that stars Glyza De Castro, Anthony Falcon, Dino Pastrano, and Jasmine Curtis Smith, who is here with us this afternoon or today to talk about the film and her experience working on it. Hi, Jasmine. How are
Yeah,
you?
good. Thank you. It's 2021, so
I
happy 2021.
know.
We're 22 days, 20 plus days in, so hope everyone's
Yes.
well so far.
Yes, thank you for being here. And yeah, happy New Year. Is it really a new year? But yeah. So anyway, to start things off, I mean the film sounds super interesting, the premise pa lang. Tell us about your character and how she fits into the whole story.
So my character's name is Mimi, and how she fits into the story is so the four friends are all out uh, in this perfect world. Like you briefly discussed the premise a while ago. They're out just before midnight and they're trying to locate a safe house. Ngayon, amongst these four friends, Mimi is the more sensible one, or she tries to be the wiser one out of all of them. Kasi, the role of Glyza, she's into taking things, and same with the role of Dino Pastrano. And then you have Anthony, who's a nurse, but at the same time, all these things happen to him as well, and you're kind of questioning the things that are going along in the story. But si Mimi, she's the one who tries to take care of her friends and to make sure
Mm.
that they are in the safe house, or they can get to a safe house as soon as they can.
So she's the mom of the group, parang ganon.
In essence, yeah, she'd make sure everyone's good, everyone's safe. She keeps track of them by calling them and then keeping in touch.
So it's a very like thrilling. It sounds very like thrillery, you know.
Yeah, there's a thriller. I wouldn't say sci-fi so much, pero may aspect of sci-fi where the creature comes in. But of course, that's a symbolism right there for
Mhm.
the dark creatures that lingers in our country.
Yeah, interesting. So when you first heard about this film, or when it was first brought to you, what was your reaction?
When I first read the script, I wasn't sure if I truly understood the message that it was trying to convey, or even the story that was being told. I understood, okay, they have to get to a safe house. Okay, there's something scary out there. But then the depth of what it's trying to convey, all the symbols that are behind the storytelling, you kind of have to be aware of our socio-political culture and scene, not just from the present, but also from way back in the past. So that was how I was able to piece it together. Eventually, when I got to talk to Direct Dodo, when I got to discuss with my co-actors, because from the first read, I was just not sure what I was reading,
Mhm.
or if I really processed it for what it's meant to be.
Hmm. So how did you prepare for the role? I mean, if it's so, you know, deep and layered, like how did you start out? How did you prepare for your role?
Well, having a good conversation with your director is definitely number one. If I had so many questions about it, and I had to ask about certain scenes to ensure that what I was saying really, the meaning of what I was saying was coming through. Kasi nga, each scene, each action, there's value to it, and there's a there's an attached kumbaga message nga to it, diba? So I want to make sure na yung gravity or yung weight of the lines that I say or the scene we are mounting all together is felt and can tunnel through from the lens to the audience watching it from the screen. So um, other than that, also, talking to your costume department, your wardrobe department, talking
Mm.
also the set designers to understand the logic of your motion, why you're doing a certain action, or why you have to touch a certain part of, let's say in the house, I had to touch a certain part of the wall, and my visual effects kaming ginawa doon, but I didn't know how it would turn out, so to mentally prepare myself and to make sure I get the right um, facial expression or body language out, uh, talking to them would help me understand paano nila yon i-edit and post. So it's not just your director, it's not just your hair and makeup or wardrobe, but you also can learn about your character or what she's going through from your production designer and
Mhm.
everyone in the art department as well.
Wow, so it's like super collaborative talaga with everyone who is working on the film.
Yes, it's gotta be. It's gotta be.
Yeah. Is that always like how it is when you work on movies, or was it specific to this particular film?
For most of the films that I've worked on and even TV, I would say it's been like that. But there are some films wherein or some sets wherein the director might say, okay, that's for your interpretation or and I did have that freedom on this set with Direct Dodo. There are some questions he didn't really specifically confirm, but I kind of just had to take his vagueness and bring myself to the scene. But in some projects, there have been times where I have asked about a scene, and there was neither a confirmation nor a denying of or saying no, hindi tama yung iniisip mo, and I had to grow the confidence in becoming the character or telling the story um, on
Mm.
my own, really, as the
Mm.
character.
And you mentioned earlier na parang the script mismo, there's so many symbols in it. You have to have a certain knowledge of our socio-political scene. When you were preparing for the role, did you have to, I don't know, do your homework, read up on like history and, current events? Like, did you do any extra reading to prepare for the role?
Well, we weren't asked to do specific readings or to watch any specific films. So I'm very much in touch with. Sorry, there's like construction going on in the next door
Same.
neighbor.
Girl,
So
same.
my apologies if you guys can hear it. But
It's okay.
um, going back to the question, I didn't have any specific homework to prepare my for my role or for the film. But since I am very much in touch with what's going on in our country, and um, upon reading the script, also I felt like it sounded familiar in history, so I
Yeah.
would watch certain videos on YouTube, or I would try to look for people to have the right conversation about um, back then, back in the 80s when there was martial law, when people are experiencing it. Kasi I had to make references to it without really saying martial law or without really saying nung panahon ni ganito or nung under the administration of so and so. Uh, so it's just kind of it became natural to for me to understand it and to piece it together because of how in touch I am, and I
Mm.
wish I wasn't so in touch because it's so stressful, but it can only do well for us if we are in touch because you can make changes and you can encourage changes for the better.
Yeah. As an actress, do you like what is it like taking on such, because the film, I mean, it doesn't hide any the fact that it's making a statement on martial law, the desaparecidos. It's very strongly socio-political. As an actress, how do you approach films like that? Like, obviously, you're not afraid of taking on roles in these films, but how do you approach them?
Well, you have to make sure you ask the right questions and you remain open to more questions, because um, if you if you can only see the film in your perspective, then it won't really allow much room for anything else. It might not leave room for you to teach people about what the message is from the
Mm.
film, or it might not be able to, affect the audience as much. And when approaching it, kasi I make sure na, yun nga, if I get someone who didn't appreciate it and said, I don't believe that martial law really happened, or I don't believe that, you know, these politicians were like that, or the law back then was that tough or whatnot, then you have to remain calm. You have
Mm.
to just ask, okay, but so why do you believe that? Let them speak also. Let them share their insights. Kasi
Mm.
um, wala kang magiging opening to come in and to share your insights if you're just
Yeah.
going to shut down people around you, diba? Kasi
Yeah.
that's the only way that you can garner respect from someone, for them to listen to you and to
Yeah.
pay attention to you. If you're just gonna throw a stone back, then wala tayong solve. So that's how I approach it. Kasi I know I get carried away. I know it's only human to also feel so strongly and to be extreme about our beliefs, but we also have to remain level headed and realize that we can take certain steps to make sure that we go about this and not forget the value of humanity, of respecting each other, and our fellow citizens, whether or not you agree with them, and kahit na hardcore pa silang believer of the opposite of what who you believe in and who you would like as a leader,
Mm.
and that's the only way you can approach it, really. And also to
Yeah.
remember that art is subjective, so let people have their own understandings and their own appreciation, or maybe if they don't appreciate it, disliking of your film.
Yeah. So, is there ever a fear? Because I mean, you highlighted a very important like point. Like, it's important to have a conversation versus to like always fight. But is there ever a fear of you putting yourself out there and taking on a political film? Is there ever a fear of getting bashed or canceled or
Yeah, of course. I feel like, though, I've gone through enough bashing in my short 10 years. I feel like ramdam ko na yung, kumbaga, I know what it looks like at the end of the tunnel. So when I'm going through that tunnel again of any bashing or any hate, I have to remember to stay focused and appreciate that there's something was sparked out of it. And if they're hating on me because of political message that was sent through my film, then I guess I hit a spot that should be hit, and these people, and that should be triggered, and I just use it to my advantage to then
Mhm.
showcase. Okay, so you got hurt, and this is what you didn't like, and you're bashing me because of it. But why is it my fault? Parang I'm just saying the story, and I'm just giving life to the story, and just you take it with a grain of salt, because if these people can come up to you and say it, people celebrities have been saying this time and time again. If people can come up to you and say it to your face, then I'll appreciate it even more. Then because I
Mhm.
know baka willing ka pang makipag-usap sa akin in person. But on social media, it's just so easy to like say, nope, that's it. I left my comment, never paying attention to you again. So
Mm.
knowing the light at the end of the light and knowing and seeing the light at the end of the tunnel and knowing that the tunnel doesn't go on forever.
Mm. That's, I think everyone, even people who aren't celebrities, need to keep that in mind, especially with social media. So
Huh?
going back to filming, what was it like? You filmed this in 2019, so pre-pandemic.
18.
Oh, 2018. Sorry. Yeah. So what was it like filming this movie?
It was really fun and cool. It's very rare that I say filming a project is cool. You know,
Mhm.
it's usually fun. It's usually efficient. You know, those are the usual words that I use because it's consistently fun and efficient for most of my production sets. And the difference with this one was the coolness of it all because there were
Mm.
so many different setups for cameras, lighting, and the tricks that we had to do for blocking in terms of walking in a scene and how to go about it, and that was the most enjoyable part for me. I've been sharing a lot about these two specific scenes where we shot in complete pitch black, and also the one where there's a revolving wallpaper. But I have to say there's another one that I keep forgetting about, and it's the scene wherein the camera is just going around in 360. And
Wow.
that happened was all actors had to also walk while the camera was
Oh my
moving,
gosh.
and we had to pace ourselves according to the movement of the camera and make sure the timing was right. And I find those things cool because it shows how much effort is put into it and how each department plays a crucial role talaga in coming together and gelling the film and the storytelling together. Because that's when the vision truly comes to life, you know? It doesn't stop with the actor. It doesn't stop with the hair and makeup or the costume. It goes all the way through down to the finest details of the camera movement, to the production design, to the blocking, and of course the food we eat also. So but, yeah, definitely a cool set, and I'd love to experience working with these people again. Talaga solid
Yeah.
100.
So it sounds like you did a lot of things that you never did before on a set.
I would say, yeah, production wise, with the technical movements and settings, a lot of new things for me in Midnight, and a
Mm.
lot of ano yun, learning for an actor also. Na you don't get complacent. Na you just have to be aware of an angle here, or to what do you call it, to remember lines. It's also remembering blocking, it's being present in your motion and remembering movement. It's a wonderful learning experience.
Mm. So it sounds like a lot of magic happened behind the scenes. What was your reaction when you finally saw the finished film and all that magic just came together?
I was just so happy. I mean, it felt that I can't think of another word for cool, but I felt like it was a wow moment because I was part of that, and I was able to convey this message nga, and parang I almost forgot that it was so political in a sense. Like when I was watching it, I was like, oh, parang may mga nadagdagan pa kasi akong learnings since 2018 up to now 2021 that makes it even a more important film and makes the
Mm.
story even more important to convey. And I felt the tension inside of me, the fear of being bashed again. I felt like, what could people possibly say? But I also felt so proud because it's a needed film in today's time, and we did it. It's finally out after a couple of years. We finally launched it. So it was perfect timing, um, for it to be released last year and
Yeah.
now to come out again in 2021 on
Yeah.
Upstream.
So you mentioned na you filmed this in 2018, and then so many learnings. You had so many learnings in between then and now. What is it like to bring it out now when the world is so different? Um, and what were those learnings that happened in between?
Well, I think to bring it out now, it feels awesome because you're able to prolong a conversation. You're able to also attach so many new facts and happenings in our society that have piled on to all these previous wrongdoings already in our political scene. You know, we're able to uh point out, okay, see this, that's relevant. You know why? Because people are still disappearing, people are still getting killed, and we still don't know how it happened or why it happened, or we do know how it happened, but bakit yung blackout nangyayari pag namatay yung tao, or bakit yung nagkakaroon ng news blackout,
Mm.
when people disappear. It happens before midnight happens pa, you know what I mean? Like in the film,
Yeah.
saying the blackout happens when midnight strikes, but here it's even before blackout, even in pure daylight. In reality, these things still happen, and it's still going on, and we need these things to change. And that's my hope. This film was not made to be anchored on politics, or to be anchored on persuading people to sway a different belief and whatnot. At least it was not how it was pitched to me. This was not how it was um, marketed. It's not at all, but this is the story, and I just feel so strongly about it. So I feel like the fact that we can bring it to the table again, and pinch people's nerves again, and poke people again, prod them, and kind of see if they get triggered to have a conversation. I
Mm.
feel just thankful because at least we can, from the film industry, we can give that.
Mm. So for you, um, it's about the film sort of what I get because I haven't seen it, but I saw the trailer. I read the reviews. So yun nga, doesn't it's not subtle in the way it makes you realize that these blackouts are not just happening in film; it's happening in real life, and the disappearances are not happening just in the film; it's happening in real life. Um, what what did you learn from working on the film? Was there anything like did it shape your beliefs even more while you were working on the film, and how? How so?
You know what? Actually, I feel like when I was working on the film, I I would kind of know there was a um an aspect to it that did touch on politics and everything that came along with the story. But I mean, the political story, but I wasn't so focused on that, and it didn't so much ignite any, or parang make me want to seek more learnings to concrete anything, because I was already so firm in my belief, and I was already so sure about the things that the truth that I knew about. So what it did to me was really remind me, actually, not I wouldn't say while working on it, because working on it is a different thing to when you consume it as a viewer.
Mm.
Um, when I consumed it as a viewer, that's when I felt the punch of my belief. That's when I felt this like importance in using my voice, and seeking out stories like these, and working on it was really my focus was more on the creative and on the
Yeah.
technical production. So I feel like it was only when I was able to put myself out of the story and see it as an outsider, then I felt okay. You know what? You were on the right track in 2018. You already knew what was going on, but it was in the years after that really built that belief even stronger, and even to be more sure,
Mm.
um, and confident in its sureness, because we can be sure but we can be shy about that sureness. So when we
Yeah.
have the confidence, it's something else. So I learned how to be confident about my political belief through this film,
Mm.
definitely.
I'm just curious because you mentioned watching the film, going out of it. As an actress, I've always wondered this. Like, what does it feel like to see yourself on screen? Do you see you or do you see your character?
I always see me. I always see me because there's always a part of the character's life that I look for to resonate with. But I always do ask whether it's my boyfriend or it's my friends, family, I ask them if nakikita pa ba nila si Jasmine in any of the roles or any of the films that I've done. So that I can also see kung saan banda yung need for improvement or need for more morphing into the character in my next projects. Kasi it's weird when I try to view myself as the character while watching, it's all just me criticizing myself.
Mm.
I try to just accept it and then look at all the other aspects of the storytelling and feel like, sige, that's just me. Like, yeah, just, and I cover myself with my hand, not physically, not literally, no, but parang I can do without myself in the film, and I can still enjoy the story and imagine what if it was portrayed by someone else, yung ganon.
Mm. So you kind of zoom out of
Yeah,
yourself and your character.
yeah.
That's super interesting. Like I can imagine how many films siguro all the actors watch na parang they enjoy so differently from normal people watching it. Yeah. You mentioned nga kanina or parang while talking about the film and your experience working on it, it seems like it has a lot to say, not just about you know politics and society, but also about the craft of filmmaking because it seems like there was a lot of playfulness that went on. Why do you think people should go see this movie?
I think people should go see this movie not just because of um, the message, that's the most important part of it, definitely, but also because there is a time now wherein the film industry needs you the most. We don't have our physical cinemas anymore. It's much more difficult to make sales, and if you are a film buff and if you have the opportunity to support local films, especially ours, Midnight in a Perfect World, why not? Do it because you love your country. Number one, the message of the film, because you love your country, you want to know more, you want to understand it. Perhaps you'll gain a different perspective from this film, but also because you love local films or you love films in general. And in order to push the boundaries of our local industry to make better films, we have to support the current one. It's like saying, let's nurture the youth so that they can be better leaders of the future. Let's nurture the current state of our film industry so we can have an even better one and an advanced one, and hopefully an international, like, we're competing na talaga with the international level, Hollywood level style na.
Hmm. So we will get there if audiences now support films that are out now. How important is it? Like, is it super crucial? The audience support.
Oh, it's so crucial. It's very important to get the support and to hear feedback also, because that's when we can see how much it resonated with you, to see how much it impacted you as our viewers, because that's when we know we've done well with our work, or maybe that's where we'll also find out, as people in the industry, we also need good criticism, right? So we can
Mm.
to see where we can improve for our audience and deliver better films next time.
Mhm. So you really hear like what people say, not just the critics, but the audience.
Oh, yes, definitely. And I pay attention to it. I make sure that I keep it in mind so that when I face my producers or my directors, I can give insight to what the audience might like or not like, what they could say. Parang ako na yung mini focus group ng mga producers or ng
Mm.
mga. But that's just me like collecting for my personal platforms.
Yeah. So on that note, when is Midnight in a Perfect World coming out, and where can people see it legally?
Yes, please catch Midnight in a Perfect World legally streaming worldwide, exclusively on upstream.ph. I hope you guys also support all the other films that is on Upstream, because we gotta support local cinema.
Yes. Thank you so much for chatting with me, Jasmine.
Thank
And
you.
good luck, congratulations, and good luck with everything else you're about to do. And thank you, everyone, for tuning in. You heard Jasmine. Support Philippine films, support their film on January 29.